Good morning once again, and welcome to the Fund It Fast Chat. I am Rochelle Butler, the Energy Manager with the San Joaquin Valley Clean Energy Organization. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. I hope everyone is enjoying a wonderful week. We will get started in just a couple of seconds, but first I want to take care of our housekeeping. Please make note that all of your microphones have been muted upon joining the call. This is simply to minimize background noise. As always, if you have any questions at all, I encourage you, go ahead and submit those questions using the chat box. We always save a couple of minutes at the very end to address any of those questions that you might have. Next, I would like to invite everyone to connect with us. You may do so on any one of many platforms. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, on Spotify, or you could just reach out the old-fashioned way via email or by telephone, whichever is your preference. And if you didn't quite get all of that, don't worry. Just remember you can access any of our resources by going to our website at sjvcleanenergy.org. Once again, that's sjvcleanenergy.org. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So for those of you who have attended the Fund It Fast Chat in the past, you know we always like to take a brief moment and talk about past topics that are related to the current month's topic. Now, admittedly, I did struggle a little bit going through the Fund It Fast Chats and trying to find the one that's most relevant to this month's topic. So I have listed out our two Fund It Fast Chats on revolving loan fund. Mind you, they are very different Fund It Fast Chats, although they have the same title. The first one talks about the mechanics of how a revolving loan fund or a revolving energy fund, those are the same things, how they work. The second one features a guest speaker, one of our local government partners who has quite possibly the most successful revolving loan fund I've ever seen. You may also be thinking, how is the revolving loan fund relevant to this morning's topic? I will get into that in just a few moments. So I hope you go and check out those Fund It Fast Chats. While you are over there checking out our YouTube page, don't be shy, y'all. Go ahead and give our videos a like and subscribe to our channel. This helps us out a ton, but more importantly, it helps folks just like yourselves to find our content. So this morning, we're going to talk about the Energy Efficiency Conservation Block Grant, or EECBG for short. Originally, we were going to discuss both the EECBG and the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act. However, as I began to really dive into the information, there was just too much to cram into 20 minutes and do them both justice. So we've decided to split them out. We will be covering IRA for next month's Fund It Fast Chat with a special guest, so be sure not to miss that one. All right, so EECBG it's not new. This was initially passed back in 2007. Most of you probably remember this. It was amended with the American Reinvestment and Recovery Act of 2009 before it finally expired in 2016. A little bit of a history sidebar here. The EECBG is a very important piece of legislation, particularly for the SJV CEO, because it brought about many of the initial projects that we managed as an organization, and we still continue to foster those relationships to this day. So that's a little bit of a history for you. While the goals of the program are the same both then and now, the method of kind of getting there is a little bit different. If we think about during the ARA days, the economy was in it was in a free fall, and policymakers were attempting to infuse as much money into the economy as possible to create jobs and other opportunities. The current iteration of EECBG is a little bit different in that the primary goal is not to stimulate the economy. One could argue the economy is already overstimulated, but the main focus is on the actual energy efficiency and conservation piece, so not so much job creation. So just something to keep in mind there. Now, the funding is anticipated to be announced in the fourth quarter of this year. we're already well into the fourth quarter, so I anticipate it will be any day now that it will be officially announced, but the total appropriation of funds will be $550 million. Now, these funds will be available until they are expensed, and they will be distributed in a couple of different ways here. Now, as a percentage of the whole pot of money, they'll be broken out like something like what you see on your screen here. So 34% will go to eligible units of local government alternative 1 through formula grants. Another 34% will go to eligible units of local government alternative 2 through formula grants. 28% will go to the states through formula grants. 2% will go to Indian tribes also through formula grants, and then the last 2% will be for competitive grants to ineligible local governments and Indian tribes. Now, there's some terms in there that aren't really obvious, so I'm going to go ahead and break those down for you. First, there are two main allocations that are outlined in the legislation. So, eligible unit of local government alternative 1 and eligible unit of local government alternative 2. What are these referencing to? These are two categories in reference to the population of the local government entity. So eligible unit of local government alternative 1 is a city with a population of at least 35,000. Or if you live in a smaller state, which we really don't have to worry about here in California, but if there are no cities that fit this criteria, if you're in the top 10 highest populated cities of the state in which you are located, you would fall into this category as well. Also included in this category are counties with at least 200,000, or once again, if you are a smaller state, and you are in the top 10 highest populated counties of the state, you would fall into that category. Now, eligible unit of local government alternative 2 means a city with a population of at least 50,000, or a county with a population of at least 200,000. Cities and counties that are eligible to receive an allocation under local government alternative 2 are also eligible to receive an allocation under the definition local government alternative 1. So you can theoretically qualify for both allocations. Now that we've covered the buckets of funding and how they will be distributed to local government entities, the program, the next level here is that the program will utilize a mathematical allocation formula. Well, actually 3 of them. 1 for local governments, 1 for state governments, and 1 for Indian tribes. Now, I'm not going to get into a ton of detail on the actual formula, because if you look at it, it's a little bit scary, but I will talk a little bit about what goes into that formula. So first, there is a minimum. So the floor amount of funding, each local government will receive is $75,000. So no matter what, you can rest assured you'll receive at least that much. The rest of the formula factors are specific to your local government. Now, as a side note, these formulas are nothing new. They are set forth in section 543B of the EISA, which is the same code that was utilized under ARRA, the American Recovery Reinvestment Act. So if you remember those days, there should be no surprises here. There are 2 primary factors. The first is population. So this would refer specifically to the population that is served by a local government as measured by the most recent 10-year census. The second factor is the daytime population of the local government. Now, these 2 factors are weighted. The population served is weighted by 70.25%, and the daytime population of the local government is weighted by 29.75%. So it's weighted a little bit lighter. What is daytime population, for any of you that might be wondering? This is the commuter adjusted estimate, and as a measurement, it's a measurement of the number of people that are present in the area during normal business hours. So just to clarify that for you all. All right, so what are eligible uses of the funding? So there's quite a number of different ways in which the funding can be used. I have them listed here. I don't know if this is an exhaustive list. This is what they have published on their website, but I'm assuming we'll have additional information once the official announcement is published. So for now, we'll really briefly take a look at what's been published thus far. Some of the eligible uses include things like development and implementation of an energy efficiency and conservation strategy, retaining technical consultant services to assist with the eligible entity in the development of such a strategy. It also includes things like conducting residential and commercial building energy audits. That's a big one. Establishment of financial incentive programs for energy efficiency improvements. I won't read all of them. I'll just kind of touch on some of the ones that stood out to me. Activities to increase participation and efficiency rates for material conservation programs, including source reduction, recycling, recycled content procurement programs that lead to increases in energy efficiency. There's also replacement of traffic signals and street lightings with energy efficiency or energy efficient lighting technologies. One that I would really like to highlight is programs for energy efficiency, renewable energy, and zero emission transportation, and also the associated infrastructure. Going along with that is also capital investments, projects, and programs, which may include loan programs and performance contracting programs. Now, I highlighted that one because I read this as an opportunity to start a revolving loan fund or a revolving energy fund, as I mentioned at the top of the call. What is a revolving loan fund? For those of you that don't know or maybe need a little bit of a refresher, a revolving loan fund, it's not actually a loan. We have advocated for our local government partners to start these, and the term loan has been problematic. So we suggest maybe calling it or thinking of it as a revolving energy fund. It's an accounting treatment that allows for a set aside that is designated for energy efficiency projects that will actually pay itself back with the savings associated with those projects. So it doubles as a way to pay for capital improvements and also track the energy savings that are associated with them over time. So they do pay for themselves, which is an awesome selling point for decision makers. I could go on and on about the benefits of starting a revolving loan fund, but instead I will invite you to check out our Funded Fast Chats where we dive into RLFs. As I mentioned at the top of the call, those two fast chats, they do share a common title, but they are not the same. The first is a dive into the mechanics of how a revolving loan fund works. The second is a case study with a very special guest who manages a very successful loan fund. I hope you will check those out. Those links will be available for you in our follow-up email later on this afternoon. All right, so now I am going to pause. That's what I have on the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, or EECBG. That's what I have for now. I'm going to pause really quickly here for questions. Once again, if you have any questions, please take a couple of seconds, put those questions in the chat box if you have not already done so. While folks are working on that, I would just like to remind everyone to please look out for our follow-up email later on today after the call. That email will include links to all of the related Funded Fast Chats I mentioned at the top of the presentation, so you don't have to go searching for them. That email will also have links to important resources and information referenced during the presentation. Lastly, take a quick second and add us to your email contacts. We want to be sure that you're receiving our communications so that you can stay up to date on what's going on around the partnership. That email is info@sjvcleanenergy.org. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick peek at our chat box and see if anyone has submitted any questions. And so far, I don't see any questions just yet. So I hope that's a good sign. I encourage everyone to listen, or everyone listening, please share the Fund It Fast chat with your friends and with your colleagues. You never know who might benefit from this information. What is next for the Fund It Fast chat? Well, we will be back with you on December 13th. I hope you will join us for that one as well. We will wrap up the year by discussing funding opportunities through the Inflation Reduction Act. We will have a very special guest for that Fund It Fast chat, so don't miss it. Of course, I hope to see you for every episode of the Fund It Fast chat, but if you don't make it for whatever reason, just remember Fund It Fast chats are recorded and they can be accessed through our website or by going directly to our page on YouTube. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe while you're over there. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you all stay safe and stay healthy. Until next time.